Anybody here to speak on ordinance 1-24 tonight? Nobody from the fire department's here? Okay, our meeting is closed. Thank you. We'll see you at 7 p.m. That was just for introduction. Okay.
You know, you're off street.
Exactly. And I have notifications.
I'd like to call the February 5th, 2024 meeting of the Muncie Common Council to order. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Everybody has a hat on, please take it off. And we'll have tonight's Pledge of Allegiance led by Jeff Green.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We stand for a moment. We have our invocation done by Billy McIntosh.
Gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you today to give you the praise and the glory. Father God, we just thank you for this opportunity for this branch of council to come to you for the business for this city. I ask that you bless each and every one that's here, their homes and families they represent. It's in Jesus that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
We're going to start out tonight with our citizen recognition, and it's going to be with Brandon Garrett. And next month we'll start from the beginning with Mr. Jeff Green.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for giving.
You're very welcome.
It's always nice to see a packed house. Yeah.
Yes.
This month, we're coming up on spring. We're getting past the cold weather, and we're coming up to, we all like to get outside. We like to go to the parks. You know, we like to ride our bikes on the sidewalks and everything. So this month, that's what I thought about. I mean, I'm a camper at the reservoir, and that's my getaway. And there's one big group that kind of really does all that no one thinks about. I mean, we have the fire department that we see every day out saving lives and fighting for every one of us, and the police department as well. But we have our local ASME union that is our parks department, our street department, building commissioner, animal shelter, kind of like the unseen that the people that you think goes day to day. When you see a dog running, you call them and you kind of just forget about it. But if you go to that animal shelter and you see what they go through every day to take care of every dog and every cat that they pick up, what they're doing and how they take care of every one of them animals like they're their own. It's easy to forget about, you just call the animal shelter and they come pick up the dog or the cat. There's way more to that. The parks department, we have a ton of parks. They're gorgeous. It's not just the parks that you see here, it's the reservoir that they take care of the reservoir, all the mowing, all the maintaining on your piers. If there's a problem with your camper that, at your campsite, they come get it. They pick up your trash out there. It's everything. They weed eat miles of the shoreline. So when you go get on your boat, it's not overgrown and you can walk, real nicely on your pier. The street department, you see those guys out all the time. Those guys are either patching holes or they're plowing and they're icing and they're or they're salting. It's just, they never get enough recognition to me. And that was my first, I say, real job. I was out at the reservoir. I put in piers for a while, and it was I was young then, and it was still hard, very cold. I mean, you got in the water in November, and you're putting piers in, and you got that deadline, and they're meeting it to make sure that everybody can get out there and get their boats in and have a good time. We got our parks department that is out mowing the yards. Anytime that we have any events in the park, the cabins, all that, they're there maintaining it, making sure that everybody gets in the cabin. They got what they need. They make our parks look great. All the splash pads that are coming around now, we're in our parks. They're going to make sure those are maintained. Our building commissioner's office, which is just ins and outs of tagging properties for, vacants or grass or weeds or anything, just making sure that when you come into town in the rental ordinance that you have the house that we believe as a city is up to code for you to live in. So I just want to thank them. I don't think we'll ever be able to thank them enough. My dad worked for this union for 30 some years. And so it's pretty near and dear to me. He was at the Parks Department for 30 years and he worked his tail off. And a lot of those people over there worked with him. Becky, Nate, Travis, all of them. So they became family as much as they did friends. So I would just like to present the Citizen of the Month to the ASPA Union and thank them for all of their hard work that they do day in and day out.
Even though you've moved on to bigger and better things, Brandon, you're still one of us. And I tell you right now, I've got goosebumps down to my feet. So we do feel like we get passed up quite a bit. We feel like we're not worthy of the public, so to speak. But you know, when all the dust settles, we're going to be here cleaning up. So I can promise you that we ain't going nowhere. Thank you.
There you go.
That's a good picture right there.
You could get it from the other side. Okay.
Nice job.
Thank you, Brandon. That was very well deserved.
Oh, they're very well deserving of it. Thank you, guys. Again, thank you.
Okay, like I say, next month will be Jeff Green. We're starting all over from the top and going down through. Roll call, please.
Ms. Selby,
Yeah, here.
Mr. McIntosh,
Yes.
Mr. Green,
Present.
Ms. Powell,
Here.
Mr. Garrett,
Present.
Ms. Gillian,
Here.
Mr. Fashion,
Here.
Mr. Mason,
Yeah.
Mr. Dishman,
Present.
all present.
Now we're going to go into our appointments to our board and commissions. Do we have any nominations for the Economic Development Commission? Do we have anybody?
That's Mercy. I think that's the one for this one. That's the one. Going for the Muncie Redevelopment Commission?
No, that's right. Yeah, it must be the Muncie Redevelopment Commission. Says only one though. There's two that should be appointed tonight. Anyway, we'll move on to the next one. Then we'll come back to that one. Emergency Communication 911. Do we have any nominations for that one?
Nominate.
Ms. Powell?
Mr. President, I would like to nominate Harold Mason for that position.
I'll second that. Oh, sorry.
I'll second that.
Do we have any more nominations? Roll call, please.
Selby,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
McIntosh,
Yes.
Garrett,
Yes.
Fashion,
Yes.
Dishman,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Gillian.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Now we're going on to the excuse me, Metropolitan Planning Commission. We have one for that position. Do we have any nominations for that one?
I'd like to nominate Jerry Dishman.
Second.
Is there any other nominations? Roll call, please.
Powell,
Yes.
Garrett,
Yes.
Selby,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
McIntosh,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Gillian,
Yes.
Fashion,
Yes.
Dishman.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Okay, Muncie Industrial Revolving Loan Board. Do we have any nominations for that?
Mr. President, I would like to nominate Councilperson McIntosh for that position, please. Second.
Do we have any other nominations?
It was
Billy.
industry.
you have any other nominations? Roll call, please.
Selby,
Yes.
McIntosh,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Garrett,
Yes.
Gillian,
Yes.
Basham,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Dishman.
Yes.
9 yeses.
Okay, the next one is the Muncie Police Merit Commission. Do we have any nominations for that?
Are two being appointed or just one?
Just one.
Okay,
Just one.
thank you.
And I'd like to make a nomination for Roger Overby. Is there any, okay, is there any other nominations?
For Wayne Scaife.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dilbert.
Second.
Dale Basham.
Wayne Scaife.
Second.
Okay, do we have any more nominations?
Yeah, I would like to make a nomination for Steve Craig.
I'll second that.
Have any other nominations?
Or who seconded that one?
I did. Sorry.
Okay, roll call, please.
So we got Overby,
Mm-hmm.
Steve Craig, and I'm sorry, what was the second? Who was the second nominee?
Wayne Scaife.
Wayne Scaife.
When
We're
you
just going a little quicker
Yeah.
than my pen. right here.
when you call their name, just ask who you're voting for. Okay.
Yeah, so Overby, Scaife, or Craig.
Yeah.
Mr. Green?
Scaife.
Okay. Mason,
Scaife.
Basham,
Overby.
McIntosh,
Scaife.
Gillian,
Craig.
Selby,
Scaife.
Powell,
Craig.
Garrett,
Craig.
Dishman.
Craig.
That's 4 for Scaife, 4 for Craig, and 2 for Overby.
I think it was just one.
1 for Overby, I'm sorry. Don't usually have 3 on one.
Yeah, you'll need to vote again.
Yes.
All three remain, which will so you don't drop the lowest. So
Okay.
you just need to vote again until you get somebody who gets 5.
Okay. Roll call.
Selby,
Scaife.
Powell,
Craig.
McIntosh,
Scaife.
Garrett,
Craig.
Basham,
Overby.
Overby's not.
He's still in it, right?
He
Yeah.
is? Yeah.
Yep.
Have to.
Dishman,
Craig.
Mason,
Scaife.
Green,
Scaife.
Gillian.
Craig.
We're, 4 for
Still.
4 for Craig, 1 for Overby.
Can we?
So
Wait a second.
Okay, we'll
Keep going.
have another roll call, please.
Powell,
Craig.
Garrett,
Craig.
Selby,
Scaife.
Mason,
Scaife.
McIntosh,
Scaife.
Green,
Scaife.
Gillian,
Craig.
Basham,
Craig.
Dishman.
Craig.
That's 5 for Craig, 4 for Scaife.
Next.
Okay, redevelopment commission. Do we have any nominations for the redevelopment commission?
Yes, I do have a nomination. I would like
Ms.
to.
Selby, hang on just a minute. Ms. Powell was first.
Thank you. Mr. President, I would like to nominate Andrew Dale.
I'll second.
Ms. Selby.
Do we have 1 or 2 nominations on the
You have 2 appointments.
2 appointments? I'm gonna wait.
Any other nominations?
Yeah, Mr. President, I'd like to nominate Zane Bishop.
Same Bishop.
Second.
We have any other nominations?
Could I have a point of clarity? Will we elect one at a time, or will the top vote getter get the top vote getters?
Yeah.
It's a good question. One
So in
at
the
a
past,
time.
traditional, each person would go along and vote for two
Okay,
at a time, and then the top voter getter normally gets it if they have a majority of council.
Okay, so
Okay.
we're not doing one by one. We're not
What's
doing,
that?
we're not doing.
That's not how we've done it in the past.
Okay.
I mean, that's
Okay.
how you'd like.
Yeah, we'll just do it. Two.
Wanna go?
Just state their names when they call your name.
I would like to make a nomination if I still can.
Yes.
Miss Lorraine Tomlin. Thank you, Mr. President.
Second.
We have a,
and I'd like to nominate, you had a second,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd like to nominate Isaac Miller.
Isaac Miller.
Yep.
We have a second.
Second.
Okay. Do you have any more nominations? Roll call, please.
Okay, so we got Miller, Dale, Bishop, or Tomlin. So Mr. Green,
Tomlin and Miller.
Mr. Mason,
Dale and Bishop.
Mr. Basham,
Miller and Tomlin.
McIntosh,
Dale and Bishop.
Gillian,
Dale and Bishop.
Selby,
Tomlin and Miller.
Powell,
Mr. Dale and Mr. Bishop.
Garrett,
Mr. Dale and Mr. Bishop.
and Mr. Dishman.
Dale and Bishop.
Did they,
It's Dale and Bishop. this
should we give people the opportunity to come up and speak?
time.
We probably should have. We're supposed to have.
Tomlin with 3 votes.
Now we're going to the Riverfront Project Review Board. I'd like to nominate Lewis Colder.
I'll second that.
Do we have any other nominations?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Hans Heitzelman.
I'll second that.
Any other motions?
What was his name?
Hans Heitzelman.
Any more nominations? Roll call, please.
Ms. Selby,
Coulter.
Mr. McIntosh,
Hans.
Mr. Green,
Golder.
Ms. Powell,
Heinzelman.
However you say it.
Mr. Garrett,
Coulter.
Ms. Gillian,
Heinzelman.
Mr. Basham,
Heitzelman.
Mr. Mason,
Heitzelman.
President Dishman.
Coulter.
4 for Coulter, 5 for Hyde.
Okay, we're going to go to the standing committees. And I'll have Ms. Gullion read them out.
Okay, these are the standing committees for the city council, and these are the President Dishman's choices for the standing committees. The first one is government administration. Do you want me to read out what these committees are? Okay. Government administration, consideration of matters dealing with the function of city agencies, revision of city codes, and liaison with other units of government. The chair, Brandon Garrett. The other members are Jeff Green and Billy McIntosh. Finance Committee, consideration of all budgetary matters, including but not limited to preparation of the annual budget, transfer of funds and additional appropriations. Also, consideration of all bond issues. The chairman will be Nora Powell, and the entire city council will be the members. Public Services Committee, consideration of all matters concerning services provided by the city government directly to the public, including but not limited to police and fire protection, emergency ambulances, parks and recreation, cemeteries, public transportation, etc. Chair, Jerry Dishman. Members, Jeff Green and Harold Mason. Public Works Committee, consideration of all matters connected with capital improvement, included by limited to block grant matters, I'm not sure if this, construction of public facilities, et cetera. Chair, Harold Mason. Members, Brandon Garrett and Dale Basham. Land and traffic, consideration of all zoning matters. Also consideration of all matters concerning regulation of use of public ways. Chair, William McIntosh. Members, Sarah Gullion and Nora Powell. Environmental impact, consideration of all matters regarding environmental health pertaining to the development or redevelopment of a parcel of property which could potentially affect the public health of the community. Chair, Sarah Gullion. Members, Brandon Garrett and Rose Selvey. Tax Abatement Committee, consideration of all tax abatement applications and monitoring property owner compliance. The committee may also make recommendations concerning ordinance, resolution, application, and monitoring revisions which can affect the tax abatement program. Chair, Nora Powell, and members, Rose Selvey and Billy McIntosh.
That's our standing committees for 2024. Okay, moving on to committee reports. I don't think we have any committee reports.
Yeah.
Not yet. Okay, moving on to ordinances previously introduced, we have none. New ordinances, ordinance 1-24. Do we have anybody here to speak on ordinance 1-24?
Morning, or Board of Works. Good evening. This is just a ordinance asking for additional appropriations for the EMS Fire Department 104 for $250,000. And with that, I'll just open it up for any additional questions you might have. I've got Chief Burford with me. So,
could you hang on just a minute, Chief? Can we have a nomination for the introduction for this ordinance?
I'll make that.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, I'm sorry for that. Go ahead and speak.
Briefly, and I know I've exchanged some emails with a couple of the counselors. The city had a claim filed last year, something we were watching, something we knew. We've been working with our attorneys. An agreement was reached through mediation, and a settlement was set forth. We're asking for appropriation of these funds to cover the settlement agreement. There's a confidentiality agreement attached to that. You as council members could call for a special meeting where you could file, proper paperwork, non-disclosure agreements, where we can go into more details. But in this chamber tonight, in a public meeting, we're limited to that. So.
I appreciate you saying that because I don't vote on anything I don't know nothing about. So we'll just go ahead and ask some more questions. And have any other questions for these gentlemen?
I do.
Okay.
You have the floor. Mr. Wright, what did you say the balance of Fund 104 will be after this is paid?
Well, we have additional funds available for the appropriations of $898,412.
$8,098,400?
Yeah.
And that's what's unappropriated in that fund?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Corporate cash. And what I would suggest is with the introduction tonight and then reach out to, with the additional questions for the vote.
Okay,
on the next one.
thank you.
Okay. Is there a way you could schedule us a thing to meet with you guys for that disclosure? Where we sign things, we got to know what we're giving this money to,
I mean, I'd be happy to reach out to our council and maybe get a group email together with all of you, and we can try to find some availability as soon as possible to do that.
I'd rather meet with us all meet some, like we did in that room back over there and sign a disclosure but I like to know what I'm saying yes to.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I said, you guys are privy to information that the general public is not through this, in lieu of your positions through this confidentiality agreement.
Is this a HIPAA thing?
I can't speak as to what this pertains to publicly. So like I said, I would be more than happy to set up a meeting with council where you guys can can follow those proper procedures and be informed as to what you're voting on.
Thank you.
Need to talk?
Go on.
Okay. Yeah, we'll set up something that, and I think everybody should know. And before anybody votes on something like that, especially that kind of money. Okay.
Amen.
Anybody else has anything anybody from the audience? Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all in favor of us meeting, or for this introduction, have a vote. All say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay. And we'll set up a meeting when it's available for everybody to meet. Is there a time thing on this, Mr. Craig? Craig?
I would, the sooner the better, just for the simple fact that everything in that line item has to be overridden until the additional funds are appropriated.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes,
we skipped over the minutes of the meeting.
yes, we did. Can we have a motion to accept the minutes of last month?
So moved.
Second?
Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mason?
Yes.
Mr. Basham?
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gillian?
Yes.
Ms. Selby?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
President Bilbrey?
Yes. Sorry about that. Hey, we got a resolution that's tabled. I don't know if anybody's going to bring that off or not.
Yes. May I, Mr. President? Mr. President, I would like to bring Resolution 1823 off the table. I do believe I had during previous council, we decided to table it because Mr. Joe Jackson was not here to answer some questions, and I think everybody was agreeable on that. And I did say that I was going to contact Mr. Jackson and have him come to the meeting and let him know that he needs to be present when we, or if we take this off the table. Mr. Jackson, are you here? Mr. Joe Jackson? He said that he would be here at 7 o'clock, but I still would like to take.
Do I have a motion? Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion to bring this off the table?
I'd like to make that motion.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? I have a second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Roll call, please. Bring it off the table.
McIntosh?
Yes.
Selby?
Yes.
Garrett?
No.
Okay, it's done, isn't it?
No.
Somebody says no, it's done.
No. We got to do this vote.
Okay. Okay.
Basham?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
Gillian?
No.
Mason?
No.
Powell?
No.
President Dishman?
No.
4 yeses, 5 no.
We'll try to bring this up next month. Make sure we get the guy here to answer some questions. Okay, I think that's everything. Do I have a, well, I got to go through the public comments tonight. Here, we're gonna read those off.
Are we ready for those then?
Yes.
Hold on. I'm getting a timer.
Okay. Are you ready? Okay, Russell Irving.
Remind people that they have 3 minutes.
Sir, you have 3 minutes.
2 minutes. Excuse me. My name is Russell Irving, and I'm here representing East Central Neighborhood Association and the Emily Kimbrough National Register Historic District. The situation I'm calling out this evening, I've only known about for 3 days. Starting Friday, in my front lawn, a surveyor informed me that he was measuring for water runoff and the effect it would have on the construction of a roundabout being constructed right off the back corner of my property. A little bewildered, the conversation continued, and the surveyor mused that there wasn't just one roundabout being built, there were 4 being built in my neighborhood. He mused that he did not see how these roundabouts could be constructed without the removal or adverse effect on structures in my neighborhood. Those structures would be owner-occupied, single-family historic structures, some even over the line into the historic district. Alarmed by that, I called the president of the Preservation Commission, John Hepner. John Hepner claimed he was completely unaware of roundabouts being built in our district. Now, that was Friday. On Saturday, alarmed, I went door to door knocking throughout the historic district and my neighborhood, asking if anyone knew anything about the roundabouts that had started in the neighborhood. This is what I got. One neighbor, told me that he had had a conversation with the mayor, who stated there were plans for these in our neighborhood, but he wasn't privy to tell him at the time what the plans were. Another neighbor, upset, found minutes to a public works meeting on April 12th of 2023, where Article 11 of their minutes refers to a deal that was reached between the county and the city, the Indiana Department of Transportation, using federal funds to build roundabouts in our neighborhood. Now, this is over 11 months ago, and this is the first I had heard about it and anybody else in my neighborhood or district that I talked to over 11 months. Now, to say I'm alarmed or upset, or that the people of the neighborhood are upset, is an understatement. And there's not, at this point, we're so caught off guard by this, we don't know exactly what to ask for, but we're asking for help with you as our city council representatives to understand what it feels like to know that there is evidence of this conversation about roundabouts in our neighborhood that goes back to 2022. And yet we have not been informed, included, consulted with. This doesn't feel like we have been ignored or disregarded. This feels as if we have been kept in the dark intentionally. Now, what I would like, my intent is, at least this is now our conversation in the minutes that I am here speaking on behalf of the district. We need some help, and we're looking at every avenue. We're going to be addressing this at every angle we can come at it from. But to address an issue that affects us more than anybody. We're the ones that look out on this corridor. We're the ones that see the crime and the traffic and all the problems with it. And we have some very good ideas about how we would like to see traffic move.
3 minutes is up, please.
Thank you.
I do have a question. Thank you. Mr. President. Mr. Irving, have you reached out to the mayor's office today?
No, not today. I was.
Okay, or at any point in time since Friday to find out, is Mr. Leach here?
Well, I did make a call to Mr. Leach's office on Friday. I haven't got a call returned. I did. I've talked to several people, but not to the mayor's office at this point.
Okay, and I'm not saying, was curious what his follow-up was. And you did say you reached out to Mr. Leach, the city engineer?
I'd made a call, but I haven't had a discussion.
I just want to make sure I follow up with the right people.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I have something too. I have not got anything. Has anybody else on the council received anything regarding this matter of roundabouts?
I have not.
No.
All right.
No.
Yeah.
Sir, what neighborhood do you live in?
East Central neighborhood, and in the Emily Kimbrough district.
Oh, okay.
Right down by the Watchdog.
Okay.
No, I did reach out to the mayor's office on another matter that we were dealing with East Central. But a meeting is scheduled for August, for February 12th at 3:00. And we could also address that. I wasn't privy to any of that information as well.
Okay.
This is when you called me, that was pretty much the first I've heard of it.
Okay.
I met with the mayor in December to kind of bring me up to speed on what he had planned for my district, and this was never mentioned.
Okay.
So February the 12th at 3 o'clock, we'll be meeting with the mayor if anybody wants to come.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mason.
I just wanted to add that in his defense, Adam Leach, the city engineer, has been out of the office Friday and today, so he will be in tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, next, Dan Gibson.
Just very quickly, want to give you an update on the Ethics Advisory Committee. Just a quick reminder, what we do. There are 9 people appointed to the Ethics Advisory Committee. Sorry, I'm struggling to speak tonight. But our job is simply to put together a proposed set of standards that will then come to the City Council for review at some point this year. And as part of those standards, we'll put together a framework of what a full-time permanent ethics commission would look like. The 9 individuals on that advisory committee are not going to be on that ethics commission going forward. We're just here to help set up the process, and ultimately it'll come to council to do with that what they please. We're not investigating anybody. We're not doing anything. We're just 9 volunteers trying to put together a set of standards. Our next meeting is Thursday, this Thursday, February 8th, 7:30 p.m. at Mering Hunt Library. Obviously, those meetings are open to the public. We have a small crowd normally, 1, maybe 2 if we're lucky. But encourage anybody out there who's interested in what we're doing to please show up to our meetings. In the next month or 2, we hope to have an initial solid first draft of what we have put together in terms of a set of standards. And we'll be then getting that out to the public in the best way possible, and then providing many opportunities, as many as we can, for public input and feedback. So we also have a Facebook page, Muncie Ethics Advisory Committee. And like I said, next meeting is Thursday, February 8th at 7:30.
Any more questions for Mr. Gibson or anything? Okay, next person.
Rob Miller.
Hello, my name is Rob Miller, and I'm here to speak about the Muncie Inn a little bit. I know it's been in the news. A lot of people are here. There's been a lot of cruel things said on Facebook. There's a lot of misinformation about who lives there, and I just wanted to give some of these people a voice. I was asked Friday to bring my pickup truck down there and help some families move their stuff across town. A lot of them had to leave lots of belongings behind. They've lost pets. It's whatever they have to do to move into a better situation. I'm not upset that the city closed the inn. It's a disaster, but I want people to understand that these people have jobs or they're on disability. They aren't drug addicted people that they've been made out to be. They just don't have a better option. The next step for them, sleeping in their car, sleeping in a tent. I met families. I moved some families. Met this guy on Friday, Ryan. He has a job, gets to work every day, just can't come up with the money for a down payment on an apartment. Thankfully, some folks got him a down payment and he got into an apartment. But there are families there still now that have nowhere to go. They are not being taken care of. A homeless shelter for people that are trying is cruel. We have to do better. When the inn closes, this need isn't going to go away. We have people that are trying, that have jobs, that their option is sleep in a tent with their wife or their husband, or be split up every night. The inn was stopping that, and we don't have something to replace that in town. I'm asking council to look into what can we do for transitional housing? What can we do to help people with down payment assistance? These folks are not monsters. Sure, there are bad apples there, but not all of them are.
Thank you.
Kim Miller.
Hi, I am also here to speak about the Muncie Inn. The last week, I volunteered some of my time to help move some of the residents of the Muncie Inn. During this time, I've listened to their stories. Most said they were never supposed to be here this long, but things in life just happened. Volunteering my time helped me see these people have shown me just how much we need good transitional housing in this city. Many are celebrating the closing of this motel and with no thought of what's next for these people. There will still be a need for housing for people who don't qualify for aid because the situation they are in just isn't quite bad enough. This place was a buffer between homelessness and stable housing. We shouldn't have to break up families or make them choose to leave their pets behind or even have to decide what other possessions they get to keep and which ones they leave behind. This is the option if they go into a shelter. No one wants to be faced with those choices just because the system we have doesn't work unless you have essentially lost everything. I challenge you, each of you, to research transitional housing in other cities and what organizations have done to create something that really works. When researching these things and talking to others, I want you to think about the person who sat in front of me this weekend and said, "Thank you for being kind." So many are not kind to us, and this brings back a little bit of my faith. These are people who are trying to do the best they can in unfortunate circumstances, and they have found themselves in. Without people who support us in a time of need, any one of us could be in this situation.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Paige Brown.
Yes.
Can you hang on just a minute, ma'am?
The meeting that I have scheduled with the mayor on February 12th is concerning the Muncie Inn. I have questions as to the urgency and the time frame. What is the plan for this property? What's the urgency? You give people 10 days to vacate a property and really not have anywhere to go. That just doesn't sound, too humane to me.
Yeah, especially in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Tom Collins, the president of the neighborhood association, and I believe his vice president and I will meet with the mayor at 3:00, February 12th.
Good.
And hopefully get some answers.
Well, I'm also here to talk about the Muncie Inn. The Muncie Inn is a symptom of the problem. Addressing our local housing crisis is an opportunity that we cannot afford to be missing. While there have been efforts to develop new housing on the edges of our city, we have been neglecting the core of our community. This city's housing stock is its greatest asset. It represents our willingness to invest and maintain our current infrastructure and our investment in the future. For the past several years, we have played pick and choose with ordinance enforcement, leaving too many of Muncie's most vulnerable citizens prey to absent and negligent slumlords. This is a predominantly new council and a new opportunity to ensure that Muncie's most vulnerable citizens have safe and equitable housing. So I would like to challenge you to take what we know about chronically bad landlords and move forward in a proactive action. Thank you.
Thank you. Sue Wyland.
Last fall, I went to both of the candidate forums for city council. I think all of you are Muncie natives or have been here since childhood. Is there anyone who's been somewhere else for at least a few years? Maybe in the military? Okay, a few of you. I landed here in 1993 to take a job at Bracken Library. It was pretty much the same kind of job as the one I had left, but it was closer to my parents who were aging in southern Wisconsin. When people resigned or retired and new people were hired, after a few months and I got to know them, I asked them what they found weirdest about Muncie. Was it that the streets are discontinuous or offset, making navigation difficult? Or all the extraneous no turn right on red signs? Or the manhole covers that are not flush with the pavement? They'd laugh and say, yeah, they noticed those things because they don't occur other places. I will have to say that the no turn right on red signs are mostly gone and the manhole covers are getting better. I have a colleague like you who was born and bred here, went to Ball State for 2 degrees and got her degrees and then a job in the library, Bracken Library. Once in conversation with several people, including her, I was complaining about all of the unnecessary no right turn on red signs. And Becky said, Sue, maybe it's just that Muncie has a lot of really busy intersections. I said, busier than Indianapolis? Busier than Chicago? You can turn right on red in those places. But she didn't know that because all she knew was what was here. In contrast, I have lived in 7 cities in 6 states spread across 3 time zones, places as small as 4,800 and as many as 3 million. Muncie's a bit smaller than some of those, but anyway. When we hired a new person at work, people in associated units would be involved in the interview. Candidates would at some point ask about Muncie. And Becky always said, I've lived my whole life here. I think it's pretty nice. That always caused me to grit my teeth because all it does is prove that she has no idea how much better or worse or even just different life can be. I didn't plan to live in all of those different places. It just kind of happened that way. But I am very grateful for the perspective it gave me. It is a plus that all of you are very familiar with Muncie's history, problems, and situations. But if everyone has the same or similar backgrounds and experiences, it seems you can get in kind of an echo chamber and not be aware of possible solutions that might occur to someone with a broader background. So this is just to say that promoting your Muncie roots in candidate forums was something of a turnoff for me. I voted for Holly Yipe simply because she had lived for several years in, oh my God, Michigan. I wonder if the same is true for some other voters and they just didn't vote because you all look the same. And I would encourage you to continue to solicit opinions in various situations from people with wider experiences. Between the corporations, the university, the hospital, it should be possible to find something.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Lorraine Tomlin. Oh, I skipped you. Who's next? Go ahead.
Lorraine Tomlin, I just wanted to say thank you. I had the opportunities to serve on the Muncie Redevelopment Commission for the last 2.5 years. We've made great strides in housing. We're still working through it, and it's up to you all to make more of that happen. Neighborhoods, parks, it's been an honor and a pleasure. And Ms. Selvey, Mr. Green, thank you for your votes today, and Mr. Dishman and Garrett in the past. Thank you.
Seth Rawlings.
I'm going to try to fit this all in 3 minutes, but I want to talk about the Muncie Inn and then some stuff we have going on in the state legislature that I think matters to us. So some stats about the Muncie Inn is just think about overall in Muncie. We have about, per the census, 26,600 households. And our median household income is $40,000. So by and large, that means half, so 13,000 households in our city make either $40,000 or less. Taking into account the average rent price in Muncie is $900 a month. That leads up to about $11,000 a year. When you do the math and you take takes about 20% of your income for taxes, you end up with $32,000. You spend $11,000 of that on housing. And households, this isn't people, it's households, have $21,000 on average kind of left over for any basic necessity. So that's not food, that's not any clothes, and dare they want to do something fun with their family or something. All that to say, the Muncie Inn problem is not just the Muncie Inn. It's everywhere you see at once. All of the abandoned houses, everything you see across the city. The Muncie Inn is a failure on all of us. It's a failure on me. It's a failure on a lot of people who do not take enough time to help these people out. Like Kim and Rob said, they're not monsters. A lot of them have fallen on hard times. Some of them have fallen on addiction. Some of them just lost a job. And a lot of people on addiction got it from legal measures. They were given a prescription and ended up overstaying a prescription. So that's all to say, we have to be better about how we help them as a city. Transitional housing is a big debt. We still have unused ARP funds that can be allocated to these folks. And there's other avenues we can do as a city that you guys can do, like next month. So like, there's a lot of things we can do and like to help these people. And I want to give a big shout out to the Muncie Folk Collective because they do a lot of great work. That's Sarah Renee, Neil Kring, and a lot of other people who do great work and look up their Cash App. I think it's Neil Kring's Cash App that goes directly to families. The other thing about the state legislature, so hard pivot. The one thing the state legislature I've noticed is an attack on a certain city in the state of Indiana, Indianapolis. And they've been doing this for years, but this year felt a little worse. Indianapolis can no longer tax downtown for its redevelopment purposes. Indianapolis cannot have a bus line because of the state legislature. The city of Muncie we need to come up with arms with other cities in the state. The state cannot allow cities to not control themselves. We need to be able to control ourselves in a more localized fashion. And the state legislature is very hypocritical in saying they don't want big government, especially when it comes from the feds, but they are acting as a big government in Indianapolis. And we have to be better as a city about like gaining up with our fellow cities. And that's how we have to be able to govern ourselves. So yeah, please look at the Muncie Inn, give it to the Muncie Folk Collective, and change the state legislature. Have a good one.
That was good. Not too much to do. Okay, Lynn Thornburg.
I'm going to watch this 3 minutes.
Right. Don't take my time. My first reason I signed up was to speak about the roundabouts. I'm on the Historic Preservation Commission. We've not heard anything about it. The mayor's wife is on the commission. You would think they might have conversations at home that mention stuff like that, and that she'd bring it to the commission and say, did you realize they're going to have to impact some of your historic homes in the Kimbrough district, of which we oversee every month? So that's my comment on that. Then on the Muncie Inn, and I've said that at different times when there's been posts on Facebook, I was on the committee when we did Muncie Inn homes, and anytime any bit of federal funds is involved in a project, whether it's a year later, they happen to use that property, but maybe they were talking about it a couple years ago in 2022, there are requirements for relocation. And it's not just, hey, get some not-for-profit people together to send these people into shelters and look good. But there's rent subsidies, there's notification, there's meetings, there's information, and none of that was done. And it's not like 10 days ago, they knew the Muncie Inn wasn't livable. They had it shut down during the last 4 years of this administration, parts of it. So it's not like oh gosh, we need to go because there's horrible things happening. It's been horrible for years and nothing was done. So to kick people out, giving them 10 days notice, didn't just happen. I mean, the same with the roundabout. This all doesn't just happen. And we talk about transparency. We didn't have that with either situation. So you guys, and especially Harold, okay? And maybe Nora. Thank you.
There it is.
Wayne Scaife.
Wayne Scaife. First thing I want to say is I appreciate Mr. Mason, Ms. Selvey, Mr. McIntosh, and Mr. Green for your vote. I appreciate that. I just wanted to clear up something from the last meeting when I spoke, and and it's about that bot agreement. I didn't want anybody to think that I was against it. So I'm not against the bot agreement. I just don't understand it. Like everybody else has spoke out against it. I don't understand it. And as far as I remember, in the December meeting, there was only one person they said they was against it, and that was Mr. Overby. Everybody else just said they didn't understand it. And that's all we was trying to get was clarification. And in that meeting, former Councilman Clark, who was on the Public Works Committee, he made a motion to untable it and send it back to the council. Well, he's the one that didn't appear at the Public Works Committee to answer questions. There were a lot of unanswered questions. Even the guy that was the contractor was there. He couldn't answer questions. So that's what I was saying. I can speak for anybody else. There was a lot of unanswered questions in the Public Works Committee, but we never had our second meeting. And the councilman who was on that meeting that didn't appear to answer questions, he gets upset because no one called me and asked questions. Well, you should have been at the meeting to answer those questions. And like somebody spoke out and said, I don't want to have a private conversation over the phone. I want to be on the record. Well, and I understand that. I don't blame you. But I just want you to make sure y'all understand I'm not against it. We just don't understand it. And one thing I wanted to clear up was Councilman Basham, the paper, your holiday reading material you put up, that was a feasibility study. You made it seem like it explained the bot process, and it didn't. So that was misleading.
No, I had the bot agreement tucked into that reading over the holidays. Okay. There were 340 pages plus that bot
agreement.
And
that explains
exactly.
The agreement?
It did
okay,
yes, it
because
did.
The feasibility study,
to my satisfaction.
Okay. Well, there was a lot of people that said they didn't understand it. And I think that's where it should remain. Let's get this thing done, whether we were for it or against it. Let's get it done and move on past this. But we need to have better clarification. And the last thing I want to say, I think it's a disservice to the city that the last 4 or 5 meetings that the mayor didn't come and try to explain it to the council. But the first council this year, he comes and gives his input. I think that was a disservice. It should have been done long ago. Like Ms. Selvey said, let's get it done. Let's move past it. But I just want you to know I'm not against it. I just don't understand.
Brian Shaw.
Hello, Brian Shaw. I live in the East Central neighborhood that was brought up earlier. I'm just going to give some suggestions. I'd like to see an edit made to code to require new methods for notifying the city or residents to that there are meetings that are occurring and coming up. This advertising in the newspaper that nobody subscribes to or posting on a bulletin board at City Hall or something like that doesn't cut it. Get with the times. You can do subscription services with texting, email. You can reach out to neighborhood associations if a neighborhood's being affected by something. We have contacts within our neighborhood association. We can reach out. If you get full attendance, you can get participation, you can have agreements, compromises, etc. So please make some sort of edit to code to require that kind of a change. Get with the times, 21st century. Let's see here. Edit code to require any business or residence that is flagged as a public nuisance to require to pay for services that it uses. For example, police, fire, ambulance. Muncie Inn had a lot of that over the years. Had they been forced to actually pay for these excessive runs and whatnot, maybe they would have changed their business model a little bit and not had so many of the problems over there. And then the people that actually needed transitional housing could have been fine. We wouldn't have part of this situation. Deal with the crime and the addiction element. I mean, there's other things you're going to have to do with people with addictions to help solve that problem, but just a suggestion. Edit code to require any business that receives notice or violation and is condemned or otherwise closed that affects residents. Excuse me. Put them on probation, that they need to be evaluated on a quarterly basis. 6 years ago, in the previous administration, the second floor of that inn was closed down. Why was it not inspected multiple times thereafter? Had it been required to be inspected every quarter for 5 years or something like that, maybe some of these little problems that accumulated and now it's become some unsurmountable thing that they won't be able to reopen. So maybe they could have made changes. Let's see, edit code to include an appropriate set of guidelines, procedures, etc. for this that the city would follow when you have a situation like we do. just a standard set of guidelines. If it's going to affect somebody being kicked out of a property or whatnot, that you follow certain guidelines. You can reach out to the public for an organized volunteer effort to help and whatnot. I don't think there's anything standardized at all with regard to that process. So what the previous administration did with the red carpet in, I have no idea. This one, obviously, we know what's happening. And I've got other ideas I'll email you as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Nathaniel Snow.
Thank you. I have a few items here that I'd like to mention. The first is that those who have spoken today about the Muncie Inn are our neighbors, and we are most imminently affected by the Muncie Inn. These citizens stand to benefit the most by the Muncie Inn closing in terms of increased property values, yet they are standing up for those who have been displaced. I applaud them and I agree with them. As my teacher, Walter Williams, said, there is an optimal quantity of low-quality housing. Increasing the costliness of managing a facility would foreclose upon the opportunity to profitably operate low-quality housing. We need some low-quality housing, and too much enforcement of code would actually make that more impossible. Second, I want to encourage students to attend and exercise voice at the upcoming meetings regarding the development by Ball State of the intersection at University and McKinley. I'm confused about why they're building a brand new theater on tax-free land near the university when they could be using facilities that are available downtown. Third, in regards to the matter concerning roundabouts, but more generally, I have the following proposal. As the city engages in necessary eminent domain matters, it can elect to adopt a process that citizens may deem fair. When the city seeks to practice eminent domain, it can first offer the property owner what the city considers a fair market price for the property being appropriated. If the citizen agrees to this amount, the city agrees to not reassess the remaining property value for 7 years. Alternatively, the citizen can propose an alternative value to the property that will be taken and expresses the value of the property that remains as a proportion of the total property. That expressed value then becomes the value that the property is assessed at for the next 7 years' taxes. If the property holder's expressed value makes the project financially too great a burden for the city, then the project must be abandoned by the city. Fourth, I would like to ask the council whether it is possible to appoint voters registered as independent to citizen boards, and if not, why not? Finally, I'd like to invite you all to the Frederick Douglass Jazzworks event on February 22nd at Pruis Hall. Thank you. Free show.
What's that date again?
February 22nd
I have a question as well.
at 7 p.m.
Mr. Snow, what's the date of that meeting that you invited the students to, and where is it being held?
So the meeting regarding McKinley and University on Monday night will be at Pruis Hall, and on Tuesday night will be at Cornerstone.
Right. Is that the meeting on the 13th?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Jeanette, I don't know I can't read the last name. Janetta. Oh, Miss Janetta. Oh, yeah.
So my speech is not well. I've had a stroke, so just bear with me. Okay. So, Muncie Inn folks, okay? Poor people. I feel for them. I've been working on the streets for a long time, but we do have a solution for them because we now have a shelter opening here in Muncie, and it's called Fiona's Place, and it belongs to me. So I have acquired a building through Rhythm Ministries. They have turned it over to me. It is mine. It comes with the nonprofit because I am a lay pastor. So that was turned over to me also. So we are agreed to take some of those folks in, a big family actually, that we're going to put in the upstairs for 10 days to help them. He has a job. They have five small children. So we're trying to help them so that they can get a place to live. The problem is Muncie does not have enough housing for us folks that live on a low income, such as myself living on SSI benefits. So if I didn't own my property that I live in on the Thomas Park Avondale, I would not be able to live in Muncie, but I own that property. Fiona's place will be partnering with Christian Ministries, and we're hoping at the end of the summer that it will be a women and children's emergency shelter. So right now we're using it as a night shelter, and we're partnering with the Christian Ministries and the mission. They are the one. It's ran on total donations right now, and I got people coming in. We're opening at 7 in the evening, and we feed supper. They can take a shower. They can do their laundry, and then they can sleep there, and then we're feeding them breakfast in the morning. But I'm limited to how many people I can take. So right now we can only take 7 people in. So we're done once we take this family in, because they can't be considered one unit. They have to be considered each person. So yeah, that's been my dream. I'm still on hospice, so I'm still not well, still having a lot of medical issues, but this was something I've always wanted for Muncie.
That's great.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Where's Fiona's place located?
I heard you. So at 413 South Liberty, the old Aquarius House.
Where can we donate?
Yeah, how can it?
At the Aquarius House.
Okay.
So at the Aquarius House. So actually, I'm living in the downstairs part of it. So everybody's contained in their supervision. So me and my partner and my Bernard are all living downstairs, because it's church owned, so we can use it as our church, as a church building. So
And people can send checks to that same address if they want to.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Great.
And you can address it to me. It don't make no difference. So, but everything I have, Miss Courtney Marsh has helped. Has all been donated. So all of our towels, all of our wash rags, all of our cleaning stuff, all of our toilet paper, because I don't have funds to fund it. And Christian Ministries hopefully is going to be able to step in and do the funding for the women and children's shelter.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you,
much.
Janetta. You're the best. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Audie Barber.
Gosh, Audie has to follow that.
Audie Barber, shame on every one of you up here. You've turned away 6 people tonight. You've shut them off early on a 3-minute limit. And they still had a little bit more to say. Another 2 minutes wouldn't hurt you guys at all. I think you guys need to reevaluate that, because the last council gave them plenty of time to speak their piece. If they kept repeating, it was different. And in order to continue, like Mr. Dishman told me, he wouldn't cut people off. I think you guys need to reconsider that. The 3 minutes is not enough. The solar field, I brought this up last month. I'm going to bring it up again. There's a problem with the solar field's going to go in. The county has a ordinance on offsets, but the offsets does not pertain to the incorporated property of Muncie. So you guys need to evaluate these offsets and decide how the council wants to continue with the offsets of these solar fields. If not, they're going to be able to put them right up against the sidewalks and stuff, or leave a little bit, put a fence, and then start the solar fields. So that is going to be an issue. So that is very important that you guys look into this. This is the second month I've just talked about it up here. Ask me. These guys, you, Mr. Garrett, gave them an award tonight. They are a heck of a group of people. They are still working without a contract with the city of Muncie. That is a problem. And if the council has to pull strings, pull budgets, shut budgets off, whatever it takes to get these people the contract that they deserve, they need to be given that contract. And you guys need to put a fire under the mayor's butt and make sure it happens. You, as council members, gave up your raise. These folks didn't. They didn't get it yet. They deserve it. They work out there every day, rain, snow, sleet, and hail. They're out there every day. State Highway, Indiana 32 is going to put roundabouts at Main and Madison, Jackson and Madison. It's been in the paper. It's been online. It's on the Indiana Department of Transportation because the roundabouts these folks are talking about have been discussed for well over a year now. That's why they're getting new sidewalks and stuff down there. They're going to narrow, and I think I mentioned this once before at the old council meetings. They're going to narrow it down to 1 lane in, 1 lane out. They're going to put bike lanes and parking on both sides of the roads. It is on the Indiana Department of Transportation website. You need to check it out. Now, for these folks to shut it down, they'll have to do like they did out here on Riggin Road when they was going to close the exit out here on Riggin Road. They're going to have to stand together and make it to where those don't become roundabouts, because they can do that because they've done it out here on Riggin Road and the bypass. But that has been in progress for a little over a year and a half that I know of. And the mayor took a $3.5 million buyout so that once they're done with all this paving and new sidewalks in the city of Muncie, that will become property that'll be managed by these folks over here at this point. They'll be the ones that have to clean the snow off of it because the state won't come in anymore because the mayor's done received a $3.5 million lump sum payment for that. So just some things to food for thought, folks. And please reconsider the 3 minutes, because you turned around 4 or 5 people tonight. You cut them off. Don't come up here all the time raising Cain like some of us do. But these folks were cut off tonight, and they should not have been cut off. Thank you.
Mary Stilts.
Mary Stilts, I want to reiterate what Audie said too. The state is who's doing those roundabouts. I've been working with them for the last 2 years or so because of all the wrecks that we were having in Ohio and Jackson and Maine. And so they've had this in the process for the last 4 or 5 years that they were going to do these roundabouts. City, unfortunately, has no control over it. Got to fight with the state. So we as voters, we need to go to the state highway department and say, hey, we have an issue with this. We need to change this. We need to fix this. City doesn't control that right now. The state has it in plans. The ARP funds that are available, there's been quite a bit of money set aside to better way to manage that, to be able to get some of these people out of the Muncie Inn in housing. They're paying deposits, utility deposits, last month's rent. They're working with them to try and get them in apartments and houses. I know housing sucks here in Muncie. It really does. I'm poverty. I live on Social Security. I can't afford to move. I can't afford to find a 2 or 3 bedroom house or apartment. So I live in a rundown house. But you know what? It's safe, it's clean, and I take care of it. But yeah, we do need something about housing and rents and things like that, but we cannot control what a private owner does with their rental property. Yeah, we can get them with ordinances for rules and violations, but that's all we can do. Things do need to be done. Muncie Redevelopment Commission, maybe we can work with them to come up with a couple more properties like Janetta has come up with to be able to do some emergency housing. And I've even told you guys, I told the last council, I'm even willing to volunteer to police it. I'll sit there all night. I don't care. I'm retired. Think about it.
That's all we have. People.
I have one thing. I will do what I'll be at the meeting with you, Mr. Mason, and figure out what we can do to help to get it done. We need to make sure that we are here for everybody and everything that they need. That's why we're up here. That's why you put us up here. If you ask for answers, we need to find you answers, and we need to make sure that we tell you the answers that you don't like and that you do like. It is 100% to be truthful and transparent with you. So I applaud you for getting that meeting set up. You appreciate that and the initiative that you have for the city. So thank you for that. And then I was on vacation the last time. Some things may happen with the Zoom meeting. I couldn't get in, but I was on the last council with the bot. I am still not I'm not against it either. Could you send me what you sent out in your letter just so I could have all
I didn't
together?
have a letter. I went to the mayor's office and asked him if he had a copy of the bot agreement. He printed me one.
Cool.
David, I think you got one. I think Sarah, we were all together at that lunch. Remember?
Yeah, but
We had that bot agreement.
there's no agreement yet.
No,
I know that bot language was there.
The ordinance.
Yeah.
The ordinance.
And we asked questions about it, and then I got more information.
But the ordinance is different from the
Right.
agreement.
Right.
No, I didn't have any additional. I asked for additional, but
We never, yeah.
Well, I asked for a printed copy and I got it.
Okay. I just wanted to, I didn't want to, I want
And I
to
read it.
take it to my neighborhood associations and everybody, just to be open, transparent with everybody. So I just want to apologize. I've never missed a meeting. I wasn't here last meeting. Some difficulties. So I want to apologize to you guys for that. So that's all I've got.
Anybody else has anything to say?
I got a question about the Muncie Inn. Is it operated as a motel or low income housing?
I think it's almost borderline extended stay type thing. Is what it's operated. I don't know. Is it week to week or month to month? I don't know that either.
I do know.
What?
Excuse me, and forgive my ignorance. This is my first time here. I'm Pastor Joseph Romero of Shepherd's Heart and Hands. I'm at the Muncie Inn all week last week. I am working with the HUD. I am working with those that are trying to transfer these people. Yes, to answer your question, some of the people are there week to week paying rent. A lot of them are making $700 a month. I know them personally because I've knocked on every door to try to help and be a help. For those of you that don't know who I am your local missionary to the homeless. I'm in the woods every week trying to help them get out of that situation. Over 40 years of doing this kind of work, many different states. You heard of Orlando, Florida, I'm sure. I've gotten many, many people out of the woods by working with the city, working with the agencies. I am here just like a lot of people are concerned, but I do bring solutions, and forgive me, we'll have to have meetings and I have to learn how all this works so that I can help. I do have a nonprofit, and we are looking at housing. We are looking at different types of housing because a lot of the problems have to do with barrier to entry. Now, here's the good news on the Muncie incident. The mayor did provide funding for certain kind of provisions, and a lot of people are thinking of the normal shelters and all that. I know for a fact many of them have been approved for the Muncie Housing Authority. I have friends in that department. I also know that JV has special housing going on by a special property manager. They're not going to a list. The problem is the 10-day eviction. That was the problem. It wasn't enough time. So they are going to be displaced unless some miracle happens and you can extend it. And for those that do get displaced, I will be available. I will have tents. I will do all that kind of stuff because that's what I do. I'm out there all the time. There were some of the camps that I go to. See, I came here from Orlando, Florida. We don't have snow over there. When I heard about the snow here, I said somebody's got to be boots on the ground because a lot of the displaced are not reaching the agencies. And so this year alone, you have 61% in your state new people experiencing homelessness, and it's in the 2,000 range. And your stats are on your public websites where I got the information from. But we did put a giant tent at one camp with a wood burning stove. I have a dear friend that helped make that happen. And so I'm out there evaluating what's going on, what can we do? And when I heard about the Muncie Inn, of course, I had to be boots on the ground. When I went to them, they were very ignorant and not aware of who to contact, even though it was posted on the city Facebook page and in the newspaper, contact the hub, contact these people. It wasn't working. We needed boots on the ground. I want you guys to be thinking about hiring someone to be your local boots on the ground type of person that works with agencies. I volunteer for that position. I've already told the hub I am interested in that because it makes the difference how long a person is going to be out there. One person was going to the hub. They didn't even know that there was a housing counselor available. So as far as the answer to the hotel, they run it on month to month. There are people paying $900 a month, people paying $700 a month, people paying $800 a month. Here's the other problem. A lot of these people will not qualify for a lot of the housing programs because they've been evicted from housing. So there's needs to be housing set up with low barrier entry, second chance housing, which is something I know how to run. My 40 years includes running residential programs. If you heard of Teen Challenge, if you heard of the Mission, I worked for the Mission. I've worked for nonprofit residential programs. I will be contacting the lady who you graciously embraced her, and I hope you will embrace me as a friend as well.
Can you give us an update if you're on the ground? Can you give us an update of the people who are still in need of housing? What's the status?
Right now, we have about six people that have been approved for the Muncie Housing Association, but there's that transition period. I'm not sure what day. I was told the 5th they were supposed to be out of there, but I guess it's been extended. So I don't know that, but I do know the people are saying, I have nowhere to go. That's what's coming out of their mouths.
How many residents are you talking about?
There's about 48 residents, you know, 'cause some of them are, you know, double occupied, but a lot of them are just single people, but a lot of couples. One particular apartment has 3 cats, a dog, 2 birds, and a fish tank. It's crazy. I was like, I don't know where you're going to put that. And I already know they're going to be in their car because they don't have nowhere to go. They don't know anyone here. So there's a need for that kind of housing. I know that JV is providing some of that. It's just, will the dots be connected fast enough? But I will be more than happy to give you guys my information, you know, because the homeless, the people at the Muncie Inn, they all have my cell phone number. That's how much I care about everybody. And I'm one of your newest residents. I've only been here a year, but I'm passionate. And this is my final home. So thank you, Muncie, for allowing me to be one of your newest residents and very proactive. And I do have a legal nonprofit established already. So I just got to get boots going, you know, funding and stuff like that. But I'm working with the agencies, not even them. And I'm trying to inspire unity for all of us, residents, churches, faith, non-faith. Let's solve problems, not build walls. All right.
So just to clarify, the problem is this: there's not housing for the people here in Muncie that they can afford to get into. It is the problem. We've had housing, and if these landlords will not take them if they have evictions. They're just not going to put up with that. They go online to mycase.gov and pull up, and if they have an eviction, no, we're not playing that. There are about 11 families still stuck in that inn that has nowhere to go. I took one of those families today. So I took 7 people out of there. That's one family. So, but that's all I can take into my facility. So it's a shit show.
Oh.
Just truth. That's what it is. But folks have nowhere to go.
Yeah, I just want to make 2 comments. Number one, the residents of East Central Neighborhood Association, the residents of the neighborhood, I know because I used to live over there that Muncie Inn had always been an issue. And I think it's wonderful that a lot of the movement to take care of our neighbors has come directly from you. That's really admirable. And so I appreciate that very much. And number 2, the ladies and gentlemen of APSME, that you continue to do such an amazing job for our community, even while you're still in negotiations and feeling unappreciated, that you show up every day and do our city proud. I appreciate that as well. And I just wanted to make note of that. Thank you.
Anybody else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
You can say it.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. We're adjourned. See you next month.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.